Okay. Yeah. So feel free to unmute yourself and jump in with any questions or anything else you have to, anything additional you'd like to add. So tonight, I just wanted to talk about, creating your brand. We talk so much about posting to Facebook and being consistent, but what is the best way to do it so you can then get the best return on your time and on your post? So before we jump into that, just quick announcements. The new coach training starts on Monday. That is the 2-week group, which is then followed by the Emerald training, which is like a 4-day group on May 16th on that third Monday. And then I am doing a 15-day like bikini booty challenge. It's kind of like the 30-day squat challenges you see. And that is starting May 2nd. So all of those groups, well, the Emerald one I haven't created, but the new coach training and the free group I posted in our team page. So you can just go to those links and request to be added, add any of your coaches to the new coach training, and you can advertise the free challenge group to all of your followers. This is also a good way to go back and follow up with people who may have said, oh, well, I don't have the money right now. This is nice to offer them something free. And it's going to be really simple. I'm going to create a 15-day graphic that has, day 1, 30 squats or, whatever, day 2, lunges. And then I'll throw some videos in there. We'll talk about different form, and then just have people kind of put up their sweaty selfies and question comments and things just like we would do in a challenge group. So it's going to be pretty straightforward, but hopefully it'll be fun and people will post in there. So, okay. So creating your own brand. So what does that even mean? And, as newer coaches, you hear post 3 to 5 times daily. But how do you do that efficiently and effectively? So I would always recommend starting with your personal Facebook page. Your personal Facebook page is where your hot/warm market is. That is where people are already following you. They know you. If you are building a like page and not using your personal page, more power to you, but it's going to take you a lot longer to do that. That's a cold market. You can invite people from your hot and warm market to follow you, but it's going to be more difficult. So just putting that out there. There's, of course, a million different social media networks. You have Instagram you can use, YouTube, Snapchat, but tonight I'm just going to kind of focus on your Facebook personal page. And all of this translates over to a lot of those other social media platforms as well. But I would recommend starting with your personal Facebook page. That is what I started with and have been using for the past, 17, 16 months. And I'm just now really starting to build my like page and getting into a cold market. So, and I started with less than 500 friends on my Facebook personal page. So I didn't have a huge market to pull from. I just kept expanding month after month. So throwing that out there, this is mostly about your Facebook personal page. And I'm going to get into some examples and photos after this slide. But you want to make sure that your cover photo is reflective of your brand. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. That you're posting consistently 3 to 5 times a day. That your video formatting and your photo formatting is similar. So the thing with having your brand is if someone is scrolling Facebook, you want them to stop and know that it's your post. You want them to know this is from you and this is value added. So with me, I make sure to use the exact same video software every day. So every morning, my videos are going to look pretty much the same. I usually do a still photo and then 2 videos. And for me, it's easy, right? Because once you start doing these things every single day, it just becomes second nature. And it's very easy. It's faster. It's more efficient. Same thing with photo formatting. You want your photos to have a certain look to them. So again, I'll show some examples and talk more about photo formatting in a minute. And then find your voice and your story. You want your posts to sound like you. You don't want them to sound like someone else. When someone reads a post from you, they know it's from you. Your story should be reflected in those. We talked about that in our last team call, but you need to be able to speak to these photos, to these videos, and it all needs to go together. So that's, you know, your brand is who you are. It's your story. It's what your Facebook page looks like. So starting just with cover photos. So this top one is Jamie's cover photo. And if you go to, this is from Jamie's like page, Jamie Myers, Mommy Just Friend. If you go there and sort through all her posts and start reading through them, Jamie's posts are all about her kind of struggles and successes as in her fitness journey and as a mom. So this is perfect. This is fitness and her children. Like, that is, her kids are her life, and they are why she does what she does. And that's reflected in her cover photo. This is my personal page cover photo. So for me, I mean, neither one of us had these like created professionally or anything. I think I just used Canva or PicMonkey for my cover photo. But the one thing I will say about my cover photo is I try to use a similar color scheme. And so, you know, not all the time, but I keep it in mind when I'm doing my posts. So like the Team TNT colors are kind of blues and greens. And so, you know, it doesn't have to be exactly that color. But in these photos, I've kind of got my teals and my blues, and it's reflective of that brand. And also for me, like, you know, right now I don't have any kids, so my dogs are kind of my life, and I post about my dogs and my husband. And then of course there's just like the fitness side of it. So just make sure when you go to your Facebook page that you're seeing, you know, that your cover photo reflects who you are. So here's two more. So Melissa, same thing. She, Team Fitspiration, that is the name of her team, and these are her team colors. And you can see the colors are reflected throughout. She's a mom. Obviously, she posts a lot about being a mom, and a photographer, and then fitness. So it kind of encompasses, you know, what she really talks about, and it also brings in kind of that color scheme. So, and Raven, you know, this is a great example too. So she's got her fitness on there. You know, you really want to make sure in some way that people can see your face, because they need to know who you are when they go to that page. This is a great photo. You know, same thing, her kids, her family, her husband, you know, these are all things, this is what she talks about. Talks about fitness and her kids and just her daily life. So this is another great photo, cover photo. And I love that, you know, this is kind of like a funny photo, because Raven does some funny posts, and the more personality that you can show in your post and cover photos, the better, because the more people are going to relate to you. So, you know, just keep that in mind. When someone goes to your page, that's one of the first things they're going to see. So make sure that they know what you do and kind of what you're about, without it saying Beachbody Coach all over it, because that's obnoxious. So profile photos. So these are just kind of the photos that are in your profile, not necessarily your actual profile photo. So this, on the left, this is, if you guys go to your Facebook profile, you can scroll down on the left-hand side and you'll see like your last 9 photos. And I like to go look at those and just make sure I'm staying consistent with my brand, because your last 9 photos should reflect that. So this is Jessie Burr over here. And Jessie's team colors are very similar to my team colors. So you can see she uses those same team colors throughout her photos. And then she also uses this banner a lot on all of her photos. And so when you're scrolling Facebook, you know it's her, because everything has that really similar look. This right here, she also does quotes. And so she has like a template that looks the same, and then she just types the new quote in there. And so if you use Canva, you can like create templates and then just change like 1 or 2 things in it. And it's really easy. So she's a good example of using colors and banners and fonts to distinguish her brand. Bonnie Engel, you know, I think you guys all know Bonnie. What she's good at, I mean, she can like emote emotion. You know, I was talking about Raven, how she had personality in that photo, and that's amazing. That's what Bonnie Engel does. Bonnie Engel connects with people through the computer, and she literally has what she calls like the Bonnie face. So you can see like this crazy like smile. I mean, that is what she's about, like throwing happiness in your face. So again, very different, right? She uses her face a lot more, and this is more using color and text and graphics. As a coach, obviously, we take a lot of selfies. So your face still needs to be in these images, but you can see the difference in the type of photos. So for me, it's funny because I didn't set out to like do this. I just started, I found the WordSwag app and just started like adding all the words to like my photos. And it like has become a thing. It's a little, again, I didn't set out to do that, but people know my photos by like me having the words on it. I also use pretty much the exact same font in all of them. This was from a blog post, so it's a little different. But it's interesting too. So this photo I was tagged in. I didn't make it myself. And when I looked at the photo on my timeline, a filter was applied, which like I would never apply like a sepia filter or something to my photos. For me, I actually edit my photos. I brighten all of them. I add more contrast to all of them. So I really try to make them like pop more. You can see it like in the green in this photo. Like I'm really trying to bring out a lot of those colors and make it like super bright. And so this photo really like doesn't kind of match. And you can see the difference in like my yellow here and yellow there. And again, these are like such little things, but they are things that will make your brand more consistent. And I get asked all the time, like to the point of just, it drives me crazy. What app do you use to add words to your photos? So like, people notice and people want to use the same app. And so, if people are noticing, it becomes part of your brand. One thing I'm trying to do more now is to use my blues and greens and some gold. You can't really see it in this one, but that's gold text down there. This one I did use the pink on just because it showed up better in that background. So I'm trying to keep that in mind, but definitely trying to use my brand colors more. Crayola, I always know when it's Crayola photos, she is not afraid she is all about her fitness and Shakeology. You can see her with Shakeology, working out, food, post-workout, and then a couple of our family. But like, I know when it's a Crayola post. She's not scared to post her sweaty selfie. She is up there. People are seeing her be a product of the product, but she's doing it without just posting a bag of Shakeology. So just another great example of, I know when it's one of her posts. I also know she usually, in her posts, she tries to write something really inspirational. So I stop and read them because they're not just fluff. Crayola does a good job of keeping her posts short and sweet too. I do not do that so much. But I also think maybe that becomes part of your brand. People expect longer posts from me. People seem to be reading some, not all of them, but some, it's just what I do. I write longer posts. Crayola writes shorter posts. It doesn't matter. I think the point is you need to find what works for you and reflects who you are. So Emily, this is, all about fitness and food, Shakeology, her meals, sweaty selfie, right? And then these are of her face. So when they're not of her food or her fitness, it's still her. You're still seeing who she is. She's still imparting personality onto her page. So another example of someone, changing it up a bit. I don't post as much as my food, but this is great. It's what we do. Jamie, again, I talked about her cover photo. Here she is, fitness, kids. It's pretty obvious that her life, her page, her post revolve around her family and her fitness. And that's all reflected here. Again, guys, I'm just trying to give you examples of different people who have kind of themes going. They're in different places in their business, different success levels, but you can see a theme. So Melissa, she every morning, these are just photos, but every morning you can expect to see Melissa's workout video. So she does a video every single morning, without fail. And if she doesn't, she talks about it, right? And so, probably Monday through Saturday or, whatever, almost every morning. But then there's a lot of her family. And when you start reading into her post, it's talking about, being a girl boss. Here she is. This is, summit registration. So, it's talking about her and her kids, but how this business allows her to stay home with her kids, So I think that's a really great example if you guys want to look at someone who's incorporating family and the business together. She posted one of her reading personal development books to her daughter. So again, family, girl boss, and then she's got her fitness poster, her video every single morning. And then Amanda, so fitness and food. And Amanda also talks about her dogs a lot, who they are adorable. So that's her little family as well. But one thing that's great about Amanda is she isn't always posting about her Beachbody workout. So recently, she's been training for her yoga certification. And so a lot of her posts have been about yoga, but she also posts, she travels all the time. So she's posting her hotel workouts and Beachbody on demand from the hotel, and then her food while she's traveling. So healthy snacks for while you're on the go. So you have to make it work for who you are. And Amanda does a good job of putting it out there that she's sticking to her plan. She's staying healthy and eating healthy, even while traveling like 75% of the time, which is super hard. So people who are traveling all the time are going to relate to her. People who have kids are going to relate to Melissa. People who are pregnant right now may relate to me, although they have a lot of excuses, but we all get excuses, right? So, so those are just some examples. And I think you can see, if you go back and look at your last 9 photos, do you have a consistent look? And again, they're not always going to be super consistent. So, mine, going back and looking, I'm like, this was a blog post. So I'm like, okay, that doesn't need to count. And this was someone else. So, kind of throw some out and take a look. I'm happy with my text. I'm happy with the colors that I'm using. Also know when it's an unusual time for you. I was home for 4 days. So that's not my usual posting, but I'm still trying to keep my theme going and keep my business moving forward. So, how do you determine what your brand looks like? First, don't copy. Because, if you just start like throwing a bunch of words on your photos and it didn't come naturally, again, I don't really know why I started doing that or like how I started doing it. And it is great. It's nice. There's no reason not to put words on your photos, but just make sure that it feels natural to you. Don't go copy top coaches and what they're doing. It needs to feel like you. I know I started doing the like page training, and that's how I came across Jessie Burr, the first girl that I showed you with all the banners and stuff. And I was like, oh man, I should start doing more banners. And I started doing more banners. And I was like, this just like doesn't look like me. Like, why am I doing this? And I was literally just doing it to like copy her. And it like made no sense. It made no sense for me or for my brand or what I've been building for the last 16 months. So, I've done it. And you'll do it, and it'll feel weird, and you'll figure it out. But definitely make it your own. Do what feels right. If you want to focus on food, focus on food. If you want to focus on exercise, focus on exercise. If you want to focus on colors and words, focus on that. Check out your Pinterest boards. So there's a training. Some of you have probably seen it and watched the video all about developing your brand. And just going through Pinterest and pinning images to a board that you're really attracted to. And so when I did this, for me, so some of it was really natural and like the beach and those kind of colors. That's kind of where like my blues and greens came from. And also some of it was, very like clean lines. And so that's why I think a lot of times I just use that block font. It's really like clean, easy to read. But just start pinning things that you're attracted to. Once you'll start seeing a pattern. You'll go back and look through the board and start seeing certain colors, certain fonts, certain styles. Even if if you're pinning images of like a house, is it contemporary? Is it you'll see those trends. And then look at your current profile. When I started, I had not been posting much to Facebook. So my current profile didn't help me all that much. But if you've been posting for a little bit and you start seeing a trend, or you start seeing some pictures that really pop to you that you really like, figure out why you like those and just start recreating those. There is a branding quiz. I took it once and it's kind of fun. I think you could take it like 5 or 6 times, and every time you're going to get a different answer. And they just send you an email with kind of your brand, and it has like colors and like feel, like is this a romantic feel or whatever, and take it with a grain of salt. But it's kind of fun, and at least it puts some colors together for you, and you can see if you're interested in them at all. And then create your ideal customer avatar. So I know we've talked about this in other trainings, but who are you trying to attract? Jamie is trying to attract busy moms. And that is what, that is what her profile is about. It's about being a full-time working mom of 3 girls, saying it's okay not to be able to do it all, but like give yourself 30 minutes and be the best mom you can be. So again, in the beginning, this was hard for me because I was really scared that by focusing on one group of people, I was like alienating like 90% of my other customers. But it's not true. If you can figure out exactly who you're talking to and then make your brand reflect that, those people are going to come to you. They're going to identify with your brand and with your story. And it's going to be a lot easier to find them and to coach them. It would be really difficult for me to like coach a 60-year-old man or even a 30-year-old man who's trying to build a ton of muscle. Not because I can't do it, and I know we have the programs that can help him do it, but just because that's not really who my customer is. And when we all get in these groups, these challenge groups, you start seeing the same type of people, and they're identifying with one another, and they're helping one another. And so then that challenger kind of becomes an outlier, and you never want that. Sorry, nose is itching. So just, this website, Katie Hefner did a whole blog post on creating your ideal customer avatar. It's great. There's a YouTube video in there. I'll post these slides. But it's, if you have time, kind of go through it. It's, you're going down all the way to what does this person look like? Who are you talking to? And I think the who are you talking to part is important too, because it allows you to talk more freely, openly, have someone you're talking to in your post. Who are you telling your story to? Who's relating to this? So it helps me when I feel like I'm not trying to talk to everyone, but I know the one person I'm writing this post for. So just some quick tips and tools. So I talked about how I edit all my photos ahead of time. So I do almost everything on my phone, and literally am buying a new phone tonight because I need more storage. And it's ridiculous. We work from our phones, and if you work from your phone, you need a phone that can work for you. Like, I've just gotten to the point where the storage issue is ridiculous. But photo editing apps. So I use Microsoft Selfie, which just helps. It'll just make you look beautiful and flawless. And then I use Photo Editor as well. So Photo Editor I use to edit, like I was talking about before, my brightness, contrast, saturation, sharpness, all of those things on my photos before I post it. The photo editing apps are not as important. Just trying to tell you guys what I use now. I didn't start by using all these apps because they do take some more time. You're good to just like take your photo in some good light and post it. For my Words Banners app, so I talked about WordSwag. That's what I use for my Words. Rona and Photify, I just started using them again. Rona, both of those really because I'm putting a few more banners on, only because I'm trying to stick more to my color scheme. And as you guys know, sometimes those colors don't work well with the background of the original photo. So by adding a banner, I can then put on whatever color words I want and make it work with my brand and the look that I want. But Rona, I think I paid for both of them. I think there's a free version of Photify you can use. And Rona probably has a free version too. It might just be smaller. I bought Rona when I first started and I'm still using it. It was like $2.99 or something. So I use both of those. And then video editing, I know we're mostly talking about photos, but you want your videos to look consistent as well. So I use Splice to chop up my videos because I put my phone on a selfie stick on like a little tripod on my desk. I press record, and I run and I go do my little workout, and then I run back and stop it. So I've got to splice out the ends. And then I use Video Collage. I know a lot of coaches use Pick, Play, Post, which you can do a free version, or you can pay. And I know Melissa does this. If you guys want to check out her page, you can put like a watermark down at the bottom where you can put your website or your team name or whatever. So Pick, Play, Post is another one. I think Video Collage was free, and that's why I started using it, and I haven't really had any major issues. But you want your videos to look the same as well. I've started making a few more videos that aren't just my morning workout, and for those I've been using iMovie. The only thing I'll say about iMovie is just be careful, because a lot of the music in iMovie is not, it's still copyrighted. Even if it says it's open source, Facebook will take it down. So I've had no issues with Splice. All of their music is open source, so I've been using that for a long time now, doing those videos, and had no issue. But yeah, just try to be really, finding your brand is just being consistent in your messaging, visually and through your voice. But I think on Facebook, it's really important to get your brand down visually first, because people are going to see those photos. And also making sure your photos are, of you or of a meal you just cooked, not a bag of Shakeology. If you have a quote you want to use, put the quote on the photo with you. Again, there's just so much put out on Facebook, and we all know you just scroll really, really quickly. And so if it doesn't catch your eye, it's not going to help your business. And a random quote is not going to help your business. A bag of Shakeology is not going to help your business. It needs to be pictures of you. Stacy had a good one. She posted, it was like a picture. It was like a collage. It was a picture of her actual meal plan, written out on a piece of paper. She took a photo of it, and then I think it was a picture of the containers beside her meal or something like that. So just try to make it personal. Make it your brand. If you're not posting photos at all, people are just going to scroll right by. So you must be posting photos. That is the first step, right? That's why we say post 3 to 5 times daily. And then this is the next step. What do you want those posts to look like? So I think, yeah, so that is it. So what I want to do is allow you guys, I'm going to unmute everyone, and stop sharing, and then kind of find out if you guys have any questions, comments. It can be about this or anything, coming up, or just questions you guys have.
Where do we find these 9 photos?
So if you go to your profile.
But does it have to be on a computer or on my phone?
Yeah, it's on your computer. Okay. I don't think it's on your phone.
That's what I figured. I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's on your computer, and it's right beneath your intro section where it talks, and then it's your photos and then your friends. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think your phone has anything like that on it. And yeah, I mean, again, take it with a grain of salt, right? Like for me, I was like, well, this isn't completely reflective because this was going on in my life, but
I'm sorry, I was really late. Sorry to have you repeat. What are the 9 photos about?
so if you go
summary.
to your Facebook profile,
Yeah.
and then scroll down and like see your 9 photos. Do you see them?
Yeah.
So the main thing was just what do they look like and what are they reflecting? So for you, like I actually had yours up there from your like page.
Oh, okay.
And so from your like page, right, it is you doing fitness and your kids, right? And that's what it's about. It's about being a busy mom and somehow
Okay.
fitness in your crazy life, right?
Got it.
Yeah. So you just want to make sure that they actually look like you and the brand you're trying to portray.
Yeah. I'm looking at my personal page now, which also does.
Yeah.
There's a chewed up Ugg boot.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
you want to make sure they're not all over the place and that they have, it kind of makes sense.
Pretty consistent, except for my throwback 90s hip hop.
Yes.
I have fun. Sorry I was late, by the way.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, it was pretty much, I was just showing pictures from people's profiles that I found interesting. In the first couple, you'll have to go back and look, Jesse Burr and Bonnie, like comparing those two. I still think it's really interesting to look at some of the top coaches and how different their profiles are, and that they're still top coaches. Like, I think it just goes to show, how important having your own voice is. Because I get stuck, I get trapped in, what are they doing? And should I be doing that? So I think that's probably the easiest thing as a new coach to get sucked into, is trying to look like everyone else or look like another top coach. Any other questions, comments, anything going on with your teams? Yeah, Courtney.
Do y'all have recommendations for a team name, team colors? Because I don't have any of that yet. And I saw some great examples.
Yeah, so I would say don't feel rushed to go into like all of that, right? Like really feel out what your team is going to be. So as happy as I am with, I love Team TNT. I love what it stands for. One of my big goals when making it was to make it so it was good for guys or girls. And again, it goes kind of back to being I don't want to exclude anyone. Now, I wouldn't worry about excluding guys because that's not who I'm trying to attract. And they're not going to be my rock star coaches because it's just not, that's not who's attracted to me. And I don't really know how to coach a guy through the different issues that guys are having. So I'd say just make sure that you know who you're talking to and who your voice is and who your ideal customer is. As far as, team names are hard. Wouldn't you guys? Yeah. Take your time with team names. There is in the Bombshell Dynasty. Are you part of the Bombshell Dynasty group on Facebook?
I don't think so. I have to add myself maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Add yourself to the Bombshell Dynasty group. And there's a file in there with all of the team names that everyone kind of, has already taken. They don't really mean anything. We create our own team to create that sense of unity, of all of us working together, but really, we're all you'll have your team, you'll be part of Team TNT, and then we're still all part of the Bombshell Dynasty and, still pulling trainings and stuff from there. So it's good to have your own team because you're able to create a different environment for your coaches. Creola, Creola just started out and she just created her own team. And that's awesome because her team needs something different than I can give them. And Creola is there with them one-on-one. It's totally different. She's meeting with them in person. And so it's great. And she, Creola's always saying, I'm not that great at social media, neither is my team. And so she knows how to walk them through those steps, right? And talk to them about that. where, you know, I'm here on this training call just kind of throwing out apps and websites, and, you know, maybe that's not what's best for them and the best way for them to learn. So, you know, I think it's important just to feel out what your team needs and then kind of create your brand around that, and create a team when you feel that they need that, but not necessarily to put more stress on yourself. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks.
Yep. Anything else? Jamie, Melissa, I know you guys just did your kind of team branding and logos and everything. Would you say you guys just thought about it for a while?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I went with my page name.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just actually telling Kristen today, she was like, where do these even come from? And, you know, mine was just like, I had a challenger say that I was her Fitspiration like a month into the business. And so that's when I started my like page and used that. And so I just kind of wanted to keep that because it was like my start kind of thing. But I kind of did the same thing that Holly did, where I use a lot of pink in my pictures, but I didn't put pink in my logo because if a guy were to be on the team, I didn't want him to feel like I have a pink logo that I'm going to attach to everything. But I still use a lot of pink in all of my, I think in almost all the pictures that you posted up there, like there was some form of pink writing somewhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You know,
And Jamie, how did you come up with yours?
Did you say Jamie?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so always interrupting people. My like page, my mommy just run is my like page. So that my kids came up with that years ago when I started running. So it like, it's really special to me. So that's just what I named it. Plus with the whole teaching thing, and my personal page is still private. So I have like a different personality sort of with that. And then my blog is that, which I need to be better at. But so that's like my personal thing. And then my team name, I took a really long time to come up with it because I wanted to like, I didn't want to get tired of it or like, regret making that name. And then I just thought that my team name is Believe and Achieve. And that's really like, I always talk about that in all of my groups, in a lot of the things that I post about. It's a pretty consistent theme in things that I post. So I thought like that makes the most sense because my whole thing is about people who don't think they can be something better, or who don't think their life is so overwhelming and the sink is full and blah, 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 blah. They don't think they can do these things, but if you believe it, you can, achieve it. Here I go. That's where my name came from. And it really could, like you were saying, gender neutral, it really could be for guys too. It's a little feminine, I guess, like a little mushy for a guy. And you're right. I don't really talk to guys.
Yeah.
They don't care about me and my mom life.
Yeah.
So I probably won't ever have guys on my team. But if I did, my logo doesn't have a fancy girl, so they would be welcome. But it is kind of cool though.
Jamie, I think your brand's really strong, and I think it's almost easier because you have the separate like page. When I started out the call, I said, this is talking mainly about like Facebook personal page. That's where your Hotmart, like that's where you're hot, warm, like that is going to be the easiest place to find your leads. And you had to do something very different as a teacher. Also meant you had to send a lot more messages. You spend a lot more time messaging people because you had to slowly grow your like page. So it's not to say that's not possible, but your like page, I mean, it is only your brand. You are not posting the random like family stuff on there and not to say you don't post your kids, because you post your kids and you post working out with your kids, but
right.
Very strong, coherent message on your like page.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like a split personality kind of. It's really like my other job. It's like, I like it. And my kids are really, I have to pull through with this whole resigning thing because I'll really let them down because they're so patient. When I have to do a post, they're like, oh, Mom, you're doing a post? All right, take your time. We'll wait. And because they know that one day they won't need morning care.
That's awesome.
A motivating factor for the whole family.
That's great.
I love it.
I really can't let them down.
That's amazing. That's a motivator. Yeah.
it makes my stomach drop motivator, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
no pressure.
Yeah, right. All right. Any other questions or things you guys want to talk about tonight that could have nothing to do with what we talked about earlier? I know this has been a hard month.
I can't believe I was so late. I wasn't even thinking about it.
You're fine. What is today? The 27th?
Sorry.
Is it already the 27th of this month?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
This month was like, did it even happen?
Yeah. No, I agree. This month flew by and I still have not like hit all my goals. I've got to get to messaging some more and more people, but
I haven't either.
yeah, just all I can say, I know it's been a tough month, and I think it's been a tough month across the company. I mean, if Carl Deichler is offering people like $500 a day for selling challenge packs, I think that says like for some reason like it has just been slower. So it's not just us.
And last April was easy for me.
Yeah. Well, it's spring. Like we're getting ready to go into like summer. Yeah, I will say I'm going to look at so I'm going to do my normal challenge groups, but I'm also looking into like 21-day groups before like Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, and really trying to capitalize on some of these summer holidays because people don't really want to do a challenge group I don't want to do a 21-day fix on 4th of July, right? Like I want to eat.
We did that last year, I think.
Yeah. So that's what we normally like. I've done it before, like Thanksgiving, before Christmas, and I think it's good these summer months to have. So I need to sit down and look at my calendar. I was just thinking about that today, but maybe.
Yeah, thank you for that reminder because you're right. Like that's what we did do before all the holidays.
Yeah, and with summer, it helps. It helps and it motivates people because they can see the not just get in bikini shape, but there's that end goal.
Yeah.
So. Okay, all right, I will stop. Well, that made my dogs really